Hello, my friends. The weather is finally in the mid-90s here in Texas, and I know that sounds like it's too hot for pumpkin spice lattes and sweaters, but autumn is finally coming, which I'm so excited about because my mind is officially all about fall. I'm already romanticizing my days with all things pumpkin, cozy scented candles. I'm going to all the stores to find the best fall decor. And yes, I'm going to the coffee shops and getting all those lovely fall drinks that are so delicious. So I wanted to start off the season with this video. I've compiled a list of books, TV shows, movies, activities, and even video games to help you get into the mood for fall. And if you already are, then let this list help you romanticize it even more. So let's get started with books. First on our list is Midnight at Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. This book follows a young woman named Anna Kate who travels to Alabama to bury her deceased grandmother. And when she gets there, she realizes that her grandmother was highly beloved in the town, but not only that she owned a very beloved cafe in town where she would bake the most delicious pies. Within these pies, there was some magical ingredient. The ingredient in these pies somehow helped the townspeople have visions or dreams, and the special ingredient ends up going missing. When Anna Kate gets there, she realizes she's in for more than she bargained for. There she discovers secrets about her mother's past and about her father's past. She meets family that she never thought really existed or thought knew she existed. But in this book, she establishes relationships with these people she never knew. It's got a really wonderful sense of community. And while she's there, she has to try and recreate these pies that her grandmother had going because the people can't live without them. This book has magical realism in it. It's very cozy, and although it doesn't take place in autumn, it takes place during the summer, it very much has autumn vibes. The atmosphere is wonderful. You can really put yourself in the scene. The characters are wonderful. There are some characters that you think that you probably really don't like, but then you end up really do liking them in the end. There's a tiny bit of romance. It's not open door, so there's nothing spicy in it. It's very clean. And when I tell you this book had me craving pie, I mean I wanted to make a pie, not just eat it. Also, did I mention that this takes place in Alabama? The setting sounds so beautiful. It's small town vibes. It is perfect for a night in. Get a hot cup of tea, read this, and it is perfect for fall. Second on my list is The Simplicity of Cider by Amy E. Reichart. This book follows two main characters, Sana and Isaac. Sana is a young woman who runs an orchard with her father Einar, and Isaac is a single father that is traveling to the area in search of work. Einar ends up employing Isaac at the orchard, and there Isaac and Sana end up having this little romance. Not only does this romance ensue, but we find out that Einar is aging, and it's becoming a little more difficult for Sana and Einar to run the orchard together. When her brother steps in and decides he wants to sell off the property, Sana is in such a fit she has to figure out how to save the orchard from her brother from being sold off. It is a wonderful book. It kind of gave me Hallmark vibes. It's a little cheesy and kind of predictable, but it's just a wonderful book to read during the fall. When I read this, I think I read it in about 3 days, and I definitely romanticized it because I got my little hot cup of cider, I got on the cozy couch with my cozy blanket, and just had the best time reading this. I cannot recommend this book enough for fall, so pick it up. Next up on my list, this book has to be my favorite book of the year that I've read in a long time. That would be The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. And if you've never read a Kristen Hanna book, I highly recommend that you do. She is a beautiful author. Her writings really put you in the atmosphere. When she writes about a place or puts a song into the book, it's like you can hear it. It's like you are there. This book takes place in Alaska, in remote Alaska, and it is about a 13-year-old girl named Lenora and her two parents, Ernst and Cora Albright. Ernst is a former Vietnam War veteran. He was a prisoner of war and he suffers from severe PTSD. I almost don't want to say anything about this book because there's a lot that goes on, but I will tell you that there are some themes in it that are a little heavy, so check trigger warnings before you read it. But yeah, they moved to a remote village in Alaska and it takes place over the course of a few years. It is very atmospheric. It'll make you want to cozy up and it is perfect for fall. The The story is so beautiful, and I can't tell you how many times I've cried just within the book. It wasn't at the end. It was like halfway through I was crying. At the end I was crying. It's such a great book. And this is gonna sound weird, but it kind of reminded me of Gilmore Girls in a way. Lenora, the 13-year-old, she reminds me a lot of Rory and a little bit of Ellie from The Last of Us. And I wouldn't say Cora really reminds me of Lorelai, but their relationship is very close and tight-knit like Lorelai and Rory's. So if that at all intrigues you, definitely pick this one up. You will not regret it. Last on my list of books is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This has been out for quite a while, so you may have already read it. It's an easy read. I got through it in no time at all. But the best way I can describe this book is a little bit of like Crimson Peak, or at least those were the vibes that the book gave me. I felt like I was in a big Gothic mansion reading this. This book follows a young woman who goes to this mansion in the middle of the Mexico mountain to investigate her cousin's claims that her husband is trying to murder her. But when she gets there, she finds out that there are far more disturbing things going on in this book. And if you are into the creepy, horrific, disturbing, spooky, haunting kind of books, this is for you, because it is definitely that. I definitely recommend that you read this in October. If you're really getting to those spooky vibes and you want to get all Gary's stuff in before the fall is over, pick this one up. So let's get into movies. I tried to compile a list that didn't involve the normal things that you would see, like You've Got Mail or When Harry Met Sally. We all know those are great for fall. First up, we have Wolfwalkers. This is an animated film. It is on Apple TV, but it is beautiful. The animation is absolutely stunning. It takes place in Ireland, and it follows two young girls. One who is a wolfwalker and one that is immortal. And in this story, there is a village. And this village, they think that a pack of wolves is out to get all of their crops and their livestock and trying to basically murder the townspeople. And when this mortal girl's father is hired to basically take them out, he goes out one day in search for the wolf pack to do that, and the daughter ends up following him into the forest. This is where the fall vibes kind of come in, because the atmosphere is so fall. You can tell that it takes place during fall. There are falling leaves. The colors are so fall. And the animation is absolutely stunning. You can see the sketch mark and the process they used to create this film. But as the daughter follows him into the woods, she stumbles upon the Wolfwalkers. They are actually a part of this wolf pack. And a Wolfwalker they are shapeshifters. They can turn into a wolf when they are in a sleep. But this mortal girl, as she discovers these Wolfwalkers, she also discovers that maybe the pack isn't as bad as everyone thinks they are. This movie had me in tears. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat watching this because I just didn't want anything bad to happen. Luckily, the ending is so sweet. You will not regret watching this. Like I said, it is on Apple TV. Give it a try. You will love it. Next on our list of movies is Mystic Pizza. Now, this is a movie that does take up space on other people's lists, but it also takes up on my list too. It's very nostalgic. If you're looking for that nostalgia, I definitely think that you should watch it. If you have never seen it, you're missing out. This takes place in autumn in Connecticut, and it follows three young women, two of whom are sisters, Daisy and Kat Arujo, and their friend Jojo. They all waitress at a place called Mystic Pizza, and the pizza there is supposed to be really delicious. There's a secret ingredient, but that's not really what this movie is about, despite the name being Mystic Pizza. This movie follows each of their lives and love stories, and we get to see the struggles they all face as they dream of their futures in hopes of leaving their small town of Mystic. It takes place during the autumn, and if you're one of those people that just has to have everything autumn on the TV all fall, then definitely watch this, because it is perfect for that. It's nostalgic. It takes place during the 80s. It's a wonderful film. If you're a big fan of Julia Roberts, you will love this. Go watch it. Next up is one of my favorite films of all time, and I have seen it on some people's lists, but it doesn't make a lot of people's lists, which I find very sad. It is created by the same people that made Nightmare Before Christmas, but I think it's 1,000 times better, and it is James and the Giant Peach. This movie encompasses spookiness, but let me tell you a little bit about it if you haven't seen it, or if your kids haven't seen it. This story is about a young boy named James, who is taken in by his mean old aunts, and while living with them, James is approached by a man who gives him a bunch of these mysterious worms that have some sort of magic in them. And after James stumbles up a cliff, he loses them all and they fall out of this bag he's been given and they go into the ground. But luckily, as they wiggle into the ground, they wiggle into the roots of a tree that's dead outside of the aunt's house. There, these worms wiggle their way into the roots up to the tree and a peach starts to grow and grow and grow and grow. I mean, it gets so large that the ants, they decide to make it a tourist attraction and make money off of it. But one night after the tourists come, James gets a little curious, takes a bite of the peach, and that's when things take a turn. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but after he takes this bite, things take a turn. He turns into the stop motion little cute kid, goes into the peach, and he meets all of his friends there, and they are fun. They're all bugs. So the peach detaches from the tree, it stumbles into the ocean, and that's when the adventure begins. It is so wonderful to watch during fall. I can't even tell you. The vibes are on point for autumn. If you've not seen it, please go watch it. If you're a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, I believe that you will like this movie. If you don't like this movie, you will love this movie. And if you don't love this movie, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Next movie on our list is Rushmore. If you're a fan of Wes Anderson, well then, you might like this film. It definitely has Wes Anderson vibes. And what I mean by that, it's not like the highly designed sets that he likes to make. It's a little more scaled back because it was kind of in the beginning of his career, but it definitely has those Wes Anderson vibes. This movie stars Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray, and if you know, you know. It is set during autumn at a prestigious prep school, and it follows Max Fisher. He is a 15-year-old boy, I believe, who falls in love with a first grade teacher at the prep school. And when he meets the father, who is Bill Murray, of a classmate, they become friends a little bit. But things start to get complicated when not only is Max in love with this first grade teacher, but the father starts to fall for the first grade teacher too. It's a hilarious film. It's got great prep school vibes. And when we think of prep school, we think of Rory Gilmore, which is really, really funny because she actually makes an appearance in this film. And when I went back on her IMDb, I found out that this was like her first film. She's in it for literally like 3 seconds. But I found it so funny because those were the vibes that this movie gave me. But like I said, this is quirky, it's hilarious, it's wonderful, great for fall, go watch it. The next movie I have on my list, I never see on anyone's list, ever. And it should be. And I know people love it, but it is Phantom of the Opera, the one with Gerard Butler and Emmy Rossum. I believe it came out in 2005. And I don't normally like to watch musicals on TV. I strictly like to watch them in the theater, but I make an exception for this movie because it is gorgeous. And you've got to appreciate a movie where the actors have to learn how to sing for the role. I love it so much. But I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Surely you know what Phantom of the Opera is about. It is spooky and haunting and chilling, and the romance is but the gothic vibes, oh my gosh. It is so beautiful. This is one of those movies I watch every October. I am sure to buy as many candles as I can fit in all of my candle holders. I really make a night of this. I cozy up, I drink a bottle of red wine. It's just absolutely magical. And like I said, I love the gothic aesthetic throughout. The Phantom is so haunting and mysterious. The story is just so beautiful and the music is wonderful. The relationship between Christine and the Phantom, oh my. I just love it. This is a great, great movie to watch during the autumn season. Save it for October because it definitely has those spookier vibes. It's perfect for like a Halloween night or something. But yeah, oh my gosh, I get goosebumps even talking about it. Lastly, on our list of movies. Every time I mention this movie, I feel like no one's ever seen it, or if they've never seen it, they read the book. But if you're looking for something a little thrilling this season, We Have Always Lived in the Castle is perfect for that. It's adapted from Shirley Jackson. Cheers to the Queen of Horror, and the spookiness definitely fits the vibe for October or even September. This story follows 18-year-old Maricat, her sister Constance, and their uncle Julian that all live in isolation in this castle after experiencing a family tragedy 6 years earlier. When their cousin Charles arrives to steal the family fortune, who looks uncanny to their father that passed away 6 years earlier, he threatens their dark secret that they've been hiding that pertains to what happened years before. It all takes place in 1960s Vermont. It's a perfect setting for fall. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's thrilling, it has gothic setting. The sets are beautiful. I want to live in this castle. The clothes throughout this movie are just outfit goals for anyone trying to put together a new vintage inspired wardrobe, and the story is absolutely mind-bending. Go watch it. I believe it's on Peacock. Okay, so let's move on to TV shows. Okay, first on my list is, I don't think anyone agrees with me. My husband agrees with me on this one, but it may just be me that experiences this. You know how Gilmore Girls is the fall show that everyone watches, and I do too. I love watching it during the fall. But my fall show has always been Boy Meets World. When I watch it, even just having it in the background, I think about my childhood. I think about the beginning of the school season, turning on Disney Channel. I can hear and smell my mom cooking, and it even has great autumn inspired or even Halloween inspired episodes that are perfect to watch during fall. It's perfectly nostalgic for us millennials. If you never watched Boy Meets World, now is the time to do it. It's on Disney Plus. You get to see the actors grow up over the course of time throughout the show, and you get to watch this boy and all of his friends experience life for the first time and learn all of these lessons. And it's a wonderful, wonderful story. Mr. Feeney is the best character. I think he was all teaching us during this time really great lessons. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I can smell the chili or the stew my mom is cooking when I watch this. And I remember specifically watching one of the best episodes, which is where Sean is the killer in one episode, and thinking, gosh, what am I gonna be for Halloween this year? It was like every year this would happen to me. It's a perfect show. Go watch it. You may agree with me on this one, or you may not, but I do recommend it, and I recommend that you watch it during the fall. I think that you might get a little bit of what I'm talking about here. Next up is something a little spooky. It is another Shirley Jackson adaptation, and although it doesn't follow the book, it is very much inspired by her, and that is The Haunting of Hill House. It is on Netflix. It's by Mike Flanagan. It follows Hugh and Olivia Crane and their 5 children as they move into the Hill House. The family arrives hoping to fix it up and sell it, but things start to get a little bit spooky when they start to experience hauntings from multiple spirits. This show is good if you're looking for something a little scary or something a little disturbing. It is one of the most mind-blowing twists that I've ever seen on a TV show. And some of the most terrifying ghosts I've ever seen. It still haunts me to this day. And when I say that the show isn't fully faithful to Shirley Jackson's novel, don't be discouraged by that, because I can guarantee you the show is just as spooky. If you loved the book, you will love this show. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. Okay. Now, I know we've all heard of this. A lot of people have seen it, but I know there are people that have not seen this. But I'm sure you've heard of it. And if you've heard of it, just go watch it, because just do it. What are you doing? It's called Over the Garden Wall. It is perfect for fall. It is literally fall. If you were to categorize the fall and say what movie or show it was, it would be Over the Garden Wall. It follows 2 young boys. They slip through kind of a portal in time in the forest, and then they're transported to like spooky town 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is wonderful. The animation is beautiful. If you like that old like primitive or retro vintage Halloween look, you will love this show because it is perfect. Animation is so good. Elijah Wood voices the main character, and Melanie Linsky also voices the bird in the show. It takes you like 2 hours to watch. Put it on for your kids in the background. Put it on for yourself in the background as you make pumpkin bread. It's wonderful. Go watch it. Now, if you're a fan of Anne of Green Gables, and you may be an original Anne of Green Gables show stan, you may or may not like this one. I, however, really enjoy the show because it's got immaculate vibes for the fall, and that is Anne with an E. This show is on Netflix. It is about Anne Shirley. She is an orphan that is taken in by Marilla and Matthew, brother and sister that own Green Gables. This is based on Ellen Montgomery's Anne of Green Gables books. I do believe it strays a bit away from the books, but in a good way, I think. It's a little progressive, but let's not say that. Anne is progressive. She's a forward thinker. She always has been. She's got that wonderful red hair. The clothing is immaculate. This is perfect for anyone that is into cottagecore. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it because it is perfect for the fall. Just go watch it. Go watch it. Last on my TV list is Charmed. This was like a direct show that came out of the craft or the practical magic era in the 90s. And if you're into those, then you'll probably be into this. It is about 3 young women who are all sisters that are witches, but they didn't know they were witches. So one night when they're all together under the same roof, they gain their powers back, and they discover that they're the charmed ones, which are the most powerful witches in the world. And it's kind of cheesy and corny. If you're like into the Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of thing, this is kind of right up that alley. It takes place in San Francisco in a wonderful Victorian mansion. The vibes are great for fall. If you're into it, you will love it. It has hundreds of episodes. I think like 7 or 8 seasons. Go watch it. Okay, next we're going to do something a little bit different. I know that the cozy gaming community is thriving, but I feel like there are a lot of people out there, especially you women, that don't pick up a gaming controller, and I find that very sad. Don't deprive yourselves. If you like reading, if you like movies and TV shows, you will like games. They are all so different. There's a broad spectrum of stories and gaming styles that you should find and like for yourselves. So the first game on my list is for all of you Twilight girlies out there. Now, when I say that it is like Twilight, I don't mean that it is about vampires and wolves, but the vibes are very much like Twilight. It kind of feels like you're in Forks, and the music is wonderful. Life is Strange is a 5-part episodic adventure game where the decisions you make throughout the story have consequences. But you have the ability to rewind time and affect the past, present, and future. You play as Max, a photography senior who saves her old friend Chloe by discovering she can rewind time. This game has serious Twilight vibes. It takes place in Oregon, so it's like Fork. And the music is also very reminiscent of the soundtrack in Twilight. You will be putting those songs on your Spotify playlist, I guarantee you. And like I said, it is perfect if you're not really a gamer girl. It's episodic. You don't do much. You walk through the environment, you discover clues and unravel mysteries, and you can use your powers to kind of go back in time if you do make a mistake. Now, there are decisions that you have to make where you cannot go back. And in the end, your story might be different than a different time that you play it through. This game has LGBTQIA themes. It's super cozy, it's mysterious, and it's a great story. I think it's available on all platforms, so go play it. Next game on my list is my most favorite game. For those girlies that have not played games and you're into the cozy feeling, and maybe you have played a cozy game before, this is like ultimate cozy game. And if you're into fantasy, you'll love this game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Skyrim is a fantasy action RPG playable from either first or third person perspective. And what I mean by RPG, you get to role play as a character that you make up. You can be anything from a lizard to a human to an elf. You get to roam the land of Skyrim top to bottom, through caves, through towns, through people's houses. You can swim, you can do anything you want in this game. You can own a home, you can build a home, you can decorate that home, you can cook, you can bake, you can collect, you can make jewelry, you can do anything you want in this game, and it is so cozy. There are places on the map that literally feel like you're in an autumn town. You can collect outfits, you can make outfits. The possibilities are endless in this game. Oh, and you can get married. And did I forget to mention there are dragons? The landscape is beautiful. The music makes the landscape even more beautiful. It pulls on the heartstrings. It gives you goosebumps to play it. I could go on about this game all day, but I'm not going to because we don't have time. You can really get lost in this game. If you do pick this game up, you may lose a big chunk of your time to it. I believe this is available on all platforms. The next game on my list is Hogwarts Legacy. Now, if you're a Harry Potter fan like I am, and you've ever wanted to explore every nook and cranny of Hogwarts, this is the game for you. Not only that, you get to be a wizard or a witch. You can be in any house you want to be. Hogwarts Legacy is another open world RPG based on the books, but it is set about 100 years before the events of Harry Potter. Like I said, you can pick your house, learn and cast spells, collect wonderful outfits. You can fly around the map on a broom. You can discover secrets and interact with the environment around you. This game is so much fun. It's set in Scotland, so it's not just Hogwarts that you get to explore. You get to go to Hogsmeade. You can make friends. You can learn the worst spells possible, or you can play nice. you can go anywhere you want to. Of course, it's got those like spooky vibes to it. It's got fall vibes to it. It takes place over all 4 seasons. So of course, it's not only just perfect for autumn, but I consider it to be a super cozy game for autumn playing time. You get like secret rooms that you get to decorate and make all yours. It's fully customizable. It is so much fun. Go and play it. It is on all platforms. The next game I have is very similar to the first. It's one of those games that's just very environmental. There's not a lot of real gameplay to it. You just walk through the environments and discover mysteries. And that is Tell Me Why. I believe it's by the same studio that made Life is Strange. So it definitely has perfect music to it. It's got very fun environments. It takes place in Alaska, but the story is so sweet. It's got LGBTQIA themes, but Tell Me Why is the story of 2 twins, Allison and Tyler Ronan, who reunite for the first time in 10 years after their mother's death. Upon returning to their childhood home in Alaska, the Ronans realize that their shared past may not be as they remembered it. So this game is very similar to Life is Strange. The decisions you make have consequences to the story. You play as both Allison and Tyler, and through their twin bond, they have the ability to tap into their memories from when they were children. Throughout the story, they use their bond to learn about their past and quite possibly what may have happened to their mother. This game is so captivating, heart-wrenching, but very sweet too. If you're looking for one of those games where the consequences have actions to them, play this game. You won't regret it. This is available on Xbox and PC. Lastly, this is a ultimate cozy game. It's top-down, it's pixelated, but it is so cute, and that is Stardew Valley. In Stardew Valley, you play as a character that has been given a farm in a small town when your grandfather passes away. And you have to travel to this town, Stardew Valley, to fix it up. While there, you rebuild the farm, you meet the townspeople, you grow relationships, and live your life, basically. It goes through every season, so it's not just great for fall, but that's what I said about Hogwarts. You can customize your house, your character, you can get married, you can make friends, you can collect things, you can make your house bigger. The land has mysteries that you have to uncover, you have to go mining for certain things, and it's just a really great game. Like I said, it is super cozy. You will get lost in it for hours, and it is available on all platforms. You can even play it on your phone. Okay, lastly, let's get into some activities for fall. I know there are the normal things like apple picking and pumpkin patches and all of that, and although we don't have an apple orchard to visit, so that doesn't really make my list, I do have some other things that maybe you could do if you don't have those things around you as well. So, first up, thrift for new fall decor. A lot of people like home goods, and I do too. They have unique items that you can buy, but so do the thrift stores, so do the antique stores. You can find really interesting things in those places, and a lot of those things that you find in antique stores and thrift stores, they're not so cheaply made. A lot of them could be from years past that are made of ceramic or, you know, whatever material they're made of. It is perfect. Go to a thrift store, find some fall stuff there, and you'll save some money. Another thing I like to do is go book shopping. Yes, that's, of course, we like to go book shopping. Go book shopping for those really super cozy autumn-filled books. Not like the ones I showed you, but like the cozy mysteries that have the funny covers with the cat or like, you know, a pumpkin patch or something on the front. Buy those, read them, they're fun. And then not only that, when you come home, swap out the books in your bookshelf. Or instead of doing that, just flip the books that aren't autumn or spooky backwards. And that way all of your spooky and autumn inspired books are front facing, so they also become decor in your home for the season. Another thing I like to do is to start researching Pinterest to make pin boards of recipes that I might want to try for the season. I will then decide upon a few, try them out. If I like it, I'll record it and put it into a recipe book or on a recipe card. Maybe make a special fall recipe box. That's something that you could do. And that way, if you like them, you can make them in the future or pass them down or what have you. Next, make a simmer pot. We all love candles. I know that we do. I'm a candle girl. I have one in the background here. But if you want to do something a little more natural, a little more witchy, make a simmer pot. Go and buy cloves and apples, lemons, cinnamon sticks, oranges, put rosemary in there, fill it up with water, put it on a simmer on the stove, and let it cook or simmer down all day, and that aroma will fill your house. It smells so sweet, and you can also do this for Christmas time, but I definitely like to try to do this in the fall the most because it makes me feel like I'm a little witch working in my cauldron. Another thing I like to do is make apple cider. Yes, you can buy it, but what's the fun in that? Don't you want to experience making it yourself? And then it's homemade. You could save it for recipes like donuts or bread. You could make a salad dressing with it, or you could just drink it hot with maybe a new book or while watching a movie I've recommended. It's a perfect autumn day activity, and it makes the house smell good just like a simmer pot, but you get something out of it in the end, and it is wonderful. Here's another activity, and although it's not really an activity, I guess maybe going to the store is the activity. Stock up on your favorite soups and stews. We're getting down to soup season, so you need those in the pantry for when you're feeling like you want a soup on a cozy cold day. And not only soups and stews, stock up on your tea. The stores have wonderful assortments of fall teas, and if you don't like the assortments, go out and get your favorite tea. It's time, girls. Okay, lastly, this is a bit of a decorating tip, not so much an activity. I mean, I guess it could be an activity if you do what I do. So instead of just decorating, if you want to do something and go the extra mile, swap out the artworks in the frames that you have hanging around in the rooms that you want to decorate in. Since I'm a painter, I will find a really cute picture on Pinterest or maybe even someone else's painting, and I'll try to recreate it myself. Not to sell, but just to hang up in my house for the season. It's perfect for every season, but if you want to start really going out there and making sure everything in your house embodies the season, then I definitely recommend you do this. And you don't have to paint it. You can if you want to. You can also go thrifting for spooky looking pictures, or maybe you can find some prints that are fall inspired. But I definitely recommend you do this because it does something a little bit extra for the room. Okay, this is the last thing, and it is making something. We're very much into making homemade things in this house. I love going to Dutch Bros and Starbucks like anyone else, but I also like making my own coffee at home, as you well know. So make your own pumpkin spice syrup. You can use it in coffee, you can use it in tea, you can put it on pancakes, you can do whatever you want with it. Also, if you're not so much into the PSLs at Starbucks, you can kind of adjust the ratio of pumpkin spice to coffee or tea, and that way you're not spending, $4 or $5 every day at the Starbucks. It's a great activity, it's fun, it's delicious, and you'll have it in your fridge all season long. Okay, that is it. That is all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know that it was a lot. I hope that you enjoyed watching it though. I tried to include as much as I could in this that wouldn't just be me talking to the camera. So if you are here at the end of the video, I really, really appreciate you watching this. I've had such a fun time making my first autumn video. Just wait for the next one. It's going to be great. This is such a fun time of year. Please, please, please stay tuned for the next one. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.